Okay, so we're going to have another video here on MS Teams, and I'm going to be looking at channels, using channels, and some of the applications and how you can embed those in nice and simply. So here we go. So here we are, we've got our team. Now channels are really useful. Each channel is basically like a little group within the group. So click on the ellipsis or three dots, add a channel, call it something. We're going to call this session 2, but you can call it whatever you want. Automatically show this in everyone's list, so everybody who's in the team will see this channel, and then go add, and here we go. Now then, here it is, session 2 up here as opposed to general. I'll just go back to session 2. So now in this, everybody who is a member of this particular team can now see this channel as well, and they'll see it on the side, so you'll end up with a list at some point. This is useful because what you can do is you can put the resources for each session into a particular session, and that makes life easier than having them all in one big folder at the front. Okay, now the other thing that is really useful is to use channels for group activity, so you can actually split everybody up into small groups and get them doing an activity or a discussion, whatever. So here we go, click on the ellipsis again, or three dots. I'm going to add a channel, but this time I'm just going to call it group beta, and instead of everyone, it's going to be only accessible to a small group of people. So we go next. Now the only people who will be able to see that team are you, who's created it, and the people who you put in it. So what that means is that these padlocks are the private groups, so only those people who put in them. So what I would do then is, if I'm going to do an activity, I would just add some members into there, add, close, and then they will see that team, that channel, and nobody else. So it's a good way to split people up. Then what you can do is, as a note, and I'll just remind people, it's normally a better idea to start your meeting from within the team as opposed to using a meeting invite. It's because not all the meeting invites get sent, and you're trying to encourage people to turn up to your class anyway, so they come into the team earlier, and then when they see you put a meet now. Okay, so this is now showing. It's going to have a little bit of problems because it can't see my webcam, obviously, because I'm using it here, and I don't want to confuse it by putting two webcams on. So that shows me, so here's the rest of the people in my team, and I can ask them to join, and what that does is it gives them a call. It's going to be a bit hard giving them a call because I haven't turned the other computer on. When I come back over to Teams, now what's that showing me is in session 1 that meeting is going on, and all I'd have to do is click on it to join, and it's the same for any of your learners cropping up. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that going, and I'm going to say, okay, let's split up into group activities. So I'm going to set group beta on a task. They head over, and remember, you don't have to do this, they can do this, so that then they click meet now. Okay, and so I've got the main session there showing me, just because I've got everything up here. So now, in group beta, they've got a meeting, as well as one we got into. So obviously they leave one and join the other. So if I join this one, the other one is now on hold. For me, other people could still be in there. And you can, group alpha, they might also be having a meeting as well. And it's showing me the other meetings that I've got going on. Okay. So all of the meetings going on, I've got these little cameras. So just like you would as a teacher in a group activity, you can just move around, join those, see what's going on, and then come back. And then when you're ready, tell people to come back or set a time limit on it. So now all I'm just going to do is come back to whichever one I want to use, and I'll just say I'll use that one. And I've got them up here, so I'll just hang up on the other ones. Right. So once again, when somebody comes into the room, they'll see that meeting now. And that really is a really useful thing to do in Teams. Having the extra channels allows you to start splitting up and doing smaller activities. So then the other thing are adding things. So there are quite a few options that you can just add straight in or that will connect. So if you've already got accounts in other things, then you can bring them straight into your team. And the one I'm just going to do so, and the very common ones, PowerPoint obviously, although I think you'll find there's a better option. Stormboard, which is a collaborative tool, we might have a look at that if we've got time. There is a whiteboard as well somewhere. OneNote, PDF, you can pop PDFs in, but you can drop those in as files anyway. But the one we're just going to look at is Nearpod. So it's as simple as, when you goes in, it will ask you to log into your Nearpod. I've already logged in, as you can see. I'm just going to put in a live lesson, call it that, save. Now, sitting on the top there is that activity. So you could just ask, if I come in here, you can just ask your learners, pop into group whatever, click on the Nearpod, and then either wait for me or do it at your own pace if you've got the gold version. You can also add in other things as well. Same way of doing it. So Quizlet, very good one. Stormboard and Nearpod. Nearpod comes up with quite a lot, and we'll look at that when we have our face-to-face meeting. Couple of things that are quite useful to remember. The bar along the bottom. So make sure your camera isn't turned off. Make sure you're not muted. This is how you share a screen, and you can either share the application or the desktop. I'll talk about that when we deliver. You've also got some options here, so you can change your background effects. You can actually put on live captions, subtitles. Not perfect, nobody's really is yet. Hand, raising the hand, lowering the hand. The tutor will be able to see those. The meeting chat, which is really useful, and I recommend you really get to this. That's why we'll talk about it. Showing participants like so. When they raise their hands, you'll see the hand raised. Okay, so we've looked at some channels. We've looked at some channels, and we've looked at adding the applications, which you tend to be the things you forgot about. Well, thank you. See you again soon.